stop running. That's a big fish, that. Honestly. But the beauty of that multi-rig is you can very easily slip a new hook on, freshen that hook bait up and get it straight back out there. One of the best rigs in the game for that sort of fishing, in my opinion. It absolutely nails them. Get in there, come on! Get in there! Yes. It's a big carp that, Barry. It's a big carp that. Mate, it's an absolute chunk, but it's got some mega scales on it. Well, have a look at that one. Probably my favourite carp so far, £49, 4 ounces. They are well and truly on that bait. I rate want a PB now. Oh, Jesus. Hey, that's good fish, that. Man, I'm literally shaking. Welcome to another episode of Tactics, and this time you join me in the south of France, and this week's going to be scorching. We've got temperatures in excess of 37 degrees, and the venue I'm at, I don't really know a lot about. However, I do know it holds some massive carp, so hopefully we'll catch a few from Lac De Vienney. Well, that is what you want on the first morning of a week-long session. A 46-pound mirror, part of a double take with a smaller common as well. And yeah, last night was rather quiet, just a couple of small cats. But the first light this morning, we've got a couple of bites. Get in there. Get in there. Well, we are into our third fish of the session. It's taken a little while. The fish have been going mad, sort of out in no man's land where there is nobody, and yeah, one of the rods that hasn't done a bite yet, I moved this morning. Just a little hunter's worth, a couple handfuls of boilies, 10mm, 15mm, a little bit of hemp, and just a pinch of tigers, and yeah, probably within an hour, just over an hour, we've had a bite. So yeah, change the spot. That's 2 spots now that I now can get bites off. Fingers crossed this is a big one. Oh, Jesus. Hey, that's a good fish, that. Mate, that's a big common, that. Big fish, that. Well, to say I only put a couple of handfuls of boilies in the boat, that's the pro stim liver there that's been passing. So, like I said, I didn't put a lot out there, but that's a very, very good sign that they like the bait and they're on it. Wow, check that one out. 50-pound, 8-ounce common. Literally, watching the water this morning, saw an area where the fish was showing continuously, and the rod, which hadn't done a bite, I moved a couple of handfuls of pro stim liver boilies, hard hook bait, NS1 topper, and yeah, an hour later, this one robbed off. What a great start to the session. Well, how about that? What a creature. What a start to the session. If this is anything to go by, we're gonna have a pretty good week here. Mwah. Hey! So, as you can see, we're into another hard fighting Lac De Vienney carp. We've actually rested the swim since that lovely 50-pound common this morning. Decided to wind the rods in, put some more bait in each spot and leave it. It actually got really warm again today, 33 degrees. And yeah, decided to put some bait in and rest it. I rested it for probably 7 or 8 hours. Put the rods in a couple of hours ago. Slowly started to see the odd fish in and around these rods. And yeah, the same rod I actually did that 50-pound common earlier has gone again. So yeah, hopefully this is a sign of things to come. This weather now is unbelievable. We've had to suffer a little bit with the heat over the last couple of days, but I'm hoping this is a turning point now and things can only get better. Oh, it's a nice mirror that. Okay, so like we've mentioned, this episode is going to be all about the versatile multi-rig, and again, this is another one that's felt that presentation, sort of a wafter presentation, or you know, a hard bottom bait presentation topped with a little bit of buoyancy. And the great thing about this is, if we manage to land this fish, what I'll be able to do is quickly change my hook and get the rig back out there and maximise the lovely weather we've got and the feeding situation. What is this thing doing? I think this is bigger than what I think, you know. Yeah, mirror. Stop running. Well, there we go. Number 4, the 32-pound Lac De Vienney mirror. And yeah, this one's proper turn me up point over on that size 4 medium curve. It was absolutely nailed, never coming off. But the beauty of that multi-rig is I can very easily slip a new hook on, freshen that hook bait up and get it straight back out there. Yeah, speed fishing at its finest. One of the best rigs in the game for that sort of fishing, in my opinion. And also you've got that lovely slippery element to it where it absolutely nails them. Let's get this one back. Sweet. Good old job. Good job, squires. So this is the famous multi-rig and the rig that I've chosen to go in for this week at Lac De Vienney. Now I'll talk you through the components first and then we'll have a little breakdown of why I believe this rig is so good. So to start with, at the hook bait end, I've got a Pro Stim Liver hard hook bait there, or I've been switching between the tuna as well, with a little Northern Special pop-up cut in half on top. Now we've done white, pink and yellow this trip, but yellow definitely seems to be the standout at the minute. The hook itself is a size 4 Apex medium curve, ridiculously strong and super sharp as well. That's coupled with a little bit of shrink tube just over the eye of the hook to keep it in place. The hook link material itself is the 35-pound Camo X Soft. Now, although it is a soft hook link like a 25-pound version, it's got a little bit more stiffness to it, and I just believe it kicks the wet hook link away from the lead. We've got around 7 inches of that, and there you can see a couple of blobs of putty. Now, the first blob of putty is actually moulded around the knot of the multi-rig. The second one is just in the middle of the hook link. That's just going to make sure everything's nicely pinned down. And then at this end, we've got one of our long rock bottom tungsten sangle sleeves. Again, not only is that going to kick everything away, but it's also going to make sure everything's pinned down. Now, at this end, I've got one of our Fluorocast fuse leaders on here, and that's down to one of our uni lead clips, and I've got a 5-ounce lead there set to drop off. So that's coming off every single time. That's the version I would use if I was using it with a bottom bait presentation or here like a semi-buoyant wafter rig. However, the multi-rig is that versatile that you can actually use a pop-up with it as well. So here, all I've done is I've stripped back and taken off the shrink tube. I've made the gap between the hook and the knot a little bit smaller, so I've got a low line pop-up. So that's a 40mm white northern special. The rig's around 7 inches in length. Blobs of putty, all that be it now, the blob of putty around the actual knot of the multi now is the counterbalance to the pop-up. The only thing that you need to be mindful of if you're going to use it with the pop-up is behind this knot where this putty is, I've got a tiny little separation, so probably 1 or 2 mil of the coating of the braid strip back. That's just going to allow and make sure that that soft section kicks up, presenting your pop-up properly. If it doesn't and it's too stiff, it can sit at all sorts of funny angles. So like I said, this rig is very versatile. It can be used with a pop-up, bottom mate or wafter, but the main reason I use it is being able to change that hook very quickly. And in this situation where we've got certain bite times and you need to maximize them, I don't believe there's a better rig out there than this one. Okay, we are into another carp. It's come on the left hand rod, the one that was so successful last night. And to be honest with you, it was a big fish bite. And the whole time I've been playing this fish, it's felt like a big, and that could be a kiss of death and just be a 30-pounder, but it's another fish. And there are 5 or 6 sixes in here. Oh, that's a nice fish, that. That's a very nice fish. There are some 5 or 6 sixes in here. I'd absolutely love to catch one of those. So yeah, it's pretty much a numbers game really. Just keep working our way through them and hopefully one of those real big ones comes along. Ooh. Yes. It's a big carp that, Barry. It's a big carp that. Well, how's that one then? 53-pound mirror, just before it gets dark. Proper mirror. I'm over the moon with this. Again, taking on that multi-rig. Processing of Pacific tuna boilies. And yeah, the spots are rocking now. I've got 2 out of 3 rods now, consistently doing bites. Hopefully, they'll continue to do the same. I rate want a PB now. Wow, what a cracking fish that was. Lovely 53-pounder, second 50 of the trip. We're only just 24 hours in. This could be one of them red letter sessions, you never know. But yeah, we've dealt with that, that's gone back. Happy days. And yeah, again, I keep reiterating with that multi-rig. Quick, simple change of the hook. Size 4 medium curves are absolutely nailing. I'm sure you saw the hook hold on that fish. It was nailed, never coming off. And yeah, fresh hook bait. I've been mixing and matching between the Pro Stim liver and the Pacific Tuna hard hook baits, just topping them off with a fleck of colour, whether that be the pink, yellow or white northern specials. And yeah, the bait mix, which I'm sure we'll go into as well. 4 or 5 different ingredients, little and often. Continues to put them on the same spot. And yeah, just using the Hunter 750 now, just to get the rigs back out there quickly, quietly, and you never know, another one might not be too far away. Right, so it's just got dark, and like I said, all this session is going to be based around the multi-rig, but what I like to do is, the 3 that's out there fishing at the minute, I have a couple made up, so that in the hours of darkness, if I do get lucky and get bites, I can literally just clip a rig on, and off we go. And then when I get those rigs off and out and clip back off, it's just a simple case of sliding a fresh hook on, taking the old one off, steaming down a bit of shrink tube, tying a fresh hook bait on, and you'll be ready to go. It's a lot simpler, easier and quicker, especially during the hours of darkness, to do that than it is construct a whole new rig. So another little tip, have a couple ready to go so you can quickly get your rods back out there during the night, maximise those bite time hours through the hours of darkness. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch a few ourselves. Right, let me get my head down now. Hopefully get woken up by a big fat carp soon. Check this one out, biggest of the session so far, probably one of the biggest fish in the lake. And yeah, obviously post spawning now, but he's got no eye as well, real character. And to be honest with you, that's how good their multi-rigs are. You even catch the ones with no eyeballs. Oh, get in there. Yes. Well, there we go. Second part of this morning's brace, a lovely 37-pound mirror. And yeah, still only done 2 nights, 7 fish deep now and 350, so everything is going according to plan. She went hanging around. I'm singing in the rain. Never have you seen a more graceful netting than that, William. Wow, there's another one just under 40 pound at 39.15. Run me a merry dance, this one, proper good fight. Weather looks good, I'm sure we'll get some more. Bigger every time. Yes! That is the best fucking fish. Go on, shut. Oh, she is. She up, yeah? Yeah. 49.4. No way. Well, have a look at that one. Probably my favourite carp so far, 49 pound 4 ounces. They are well and truly on that bait. Yep. Happy, Will?
1 second, let's get the release.
I've got him. Here's him. Yeah. Gone through my legs. So it's time to talk to you a little bit about where I've chosen to fish. Now, this particular lake at Buster's, you can book it as a lake exclusive. So you're only allowed 4 anglers at one time, or you can book it for 2 of you, or even 1 of you. Which is what we've done this week. So we've got the whole lake to ourselves, which does sound glamorous, and it is, it's great, you're on your own. However, having been in this position before, it can also work against you. Certainly when the fish know you're there, the minute they see that line pressure and where it is, they'll just go into all different directions, and it becomes problematic at best of times. Sometimes you need 2 or 3 people on the lake to actually keep pushing the fish around. However, we'll set up on a point swim, which commands a lot of water. Apart from behind the island, there isn't anywhere on this lake that I can't get to. And for that reason, when I got here, fish were showing sort of long to the right up in the top bay, and also long behind me in top of the left bay. So by doing this, by fishing this swim, it gave me an opportunity to be able to fish 2 rods out there and then roam the 3rd one around, basically looking to get a bite. Once I got a bite, they were going to be the areas I was going to commit to for the whole week. Keep putting bait on those spots now. I wouldn't normally like to go into the living room, so to speak. So if the fish are out there in those bays, from this angle here, I would normally want to come away from them, try and draw them in with the bait and pick them off, then they drift back, then they come back. However, with the weather that we've got coming in this week, it was due to be 35, 36 degrees. It was red hot and I didn't really want to take the chance. I just wanted to get bites from the off. So I decided to send them long, and I've gone 31 wraps to the top left bay. It's a weed choked bay, and there is 1 big hole in the middle of it that's a foot deeper than anything else and gin clear. So you've got 3 foot everywhere else, and then you've got 4 foot hole, which is the one I'm in. Ants everywhere. So you've got a 4 foot hole, which is where my rig's in a minute. So that's crystal clear, and that particular rod's done 5 bites, I think, or something like that, a small common, and then the rest have been a 46 mirror and 350. So it's not doing many bites, but the ones that it's doing are the bigger fish. The middle rod is going to go long to the top bay. That's at 25 wraps. That's in 8.5 feet of water, again, which is a nice bowl, deepest part of the lake. And again, my plan was to keep putting bait in there, maybe not get loads of bites, but maybe try and pick out the big ones. And it's completely gone against that. So every morning it's kind of doing 3 or 4 bites in quick succession where the fish are moving in, clearing me out, I'm catching a few, and then they're moving off. And then the right hand rod, there's a sunken island out to my right hand side, which is at 24.25 wraps. I'm just this side of that, it's weed on top, nice sandy area in about 6 foot of water. A couple of the spots are a lot more prolific than the others, like you'd probably expect. Well, that's the reason I chose here. Also, with the weather we've got behind us in the swim, it's a massive open swim. I mean, this would be great if you're going to come with friends, doubling up 2 or 3 of you or whatever. Be a lovely social swim with a bench in it. There's a massive oak tree in it, loads of shade with the wind pumping here and here as well. So in terms of being comfortable, it just ticked every single box. It may not have been the best for the fishing to start with, like there's probably a couple of the other pegs from a fishing point of view that would have made things easier. But we'd just roasted, we'd got cooked to death. So yeah, that's why I chose here. The gamble has paid off at the moment. And like I said, we have still got a couple of nights to go. So fingers crossed, those spots keep producing. Maybe even that big one comes along. Well, this one's run me a little bit of a merry dance, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, hopefully when I get it in. But I'm in the lake. I'm assuming you can bleep that out. He's wet through because I slipped off of here. And yeah, it's literally done swung a 360 on me. Is it a 360 or 180? Swung a 180 on me, and just towing me all over the lake, this thing, honestly. I'm gonna have to move again, boys, sorry. Well, I think this is the big one. It's not even that big. It's a big carp, but it's not that big. Honestly. Well, they seem to be getting better looking. This was a culprit that gave me that right old run around. 42-pound mirror. And yeah, what an absolute stunning mirror carp. So the spots seem to be getting better. The multi-rigs are absolutely working a dream. We've got the tactics right, the baiting strategy right. Can this session get any better? Well, the action is continuing, mainly on all one rod now though, but I can deal with that, to be honest with you. This thing's woken up, I'm really not happy. There's basically a sunken island out there, and it's got all weed on top of it, and I'm basically fishing at the bottom of it, the base of it, and which I reckon is probably 5 or 6 foot of water. And I had a carp off of it, well, the 50-pound common yesterday morning, probably only 20 minutes after dropping the rig. So I knew I'd got something right straight away. But obviously the application of bait, every time I drop a hunter load, hopefully they're picking that hook bait out, and it's one of the very first things in the swim they do pick out, which means some of the bait's still left there. And if that is the case, obviously there's quite a bit of bait there now, but in that depth of water, the wind's hacking into that bank. There's been lots of carp showing out there during the early hours of the morning. And yeah, they've just got the head down on it. The other 2 rods aren't doing many bites. Every now and again I'll get a bite on one of them. But to be honest with you, if I've got one that's rocking, this is more than enough for me. The left-hand rod is the one that's not doing many bites, but when I do get a bite, it's generally a big fish, and it did the big one this morning, which we've now been told by Jez. So yeah, it's called one eye, and it was actually 64 pound. It's the 2nd or 3rd biggest fish in the lake, only 3 or 4 weeks ago, before spawning. Obviously it's spawned out now, so we've had it slightly down in weight. However, you choose to come to France at this time of year, you know, the fish are going to be down in weight. So that being said, it was still a lovely carp. This one is getting close now. Hopefully we'll see what we've got on the end in a minute. Going on up to the spear in the sky. Well, it started off as a 30-pounder. Oh my God. It's not that small. I thought it was a 30. Okay, so here's another absolute donkey, 48.5 pounds, and they're clearly getting on the bait, they're passing it on the mat. I am bringing a few things with me, but I'm doing things a little bit differently, which I think are making a huge difference in my catch rate. So let's get onto that all important bait mix next. So it's time to talk you through the mix I'm using here this week at Lac De Vienney. Now, it goes without saying before you come on these trips, do your research, because some lakes will be more demanding than others in terms of what nuisance fish you've got, poisson shark, craze, size of the carp, etc. Here, I did a lot of research, and although there wasn't a lot on it about on social media or on the internet, Jez, who runs the place, gave me a heads up and said, there's a few nuisance fish, you know, I mean, we've caught one tench and one cat. If that's all I've got to worry about, I'm not too fussed. So if you need to step up your boilie size to 18 or 24 mil, you can still replicate this process. So the first thing I'm doing, I bought the Pro Stim liver and the Pacific tuna from CC Moore. So I've got 2 buckets, and all I've done is fill it with lake water to start with. Now, if you're going to do this at home, make sure you use bottled water, or don't use tap water and get everything tainted, contaminated potentially. Use bottled water, keep it nice and clean, nice and fresh, but it's even better if you can use lake water. So I've got some lake water in both of these, and the first thing I'm going to do is take the 15 mil Pacific tuna boilies. I'm going to empty them in there. Next up, I've got some 10 mil tuna boilies. Again, something that probably these fish don't see a lot of. You know, the general consensus is you come out here, the bigger fish, you've got to use bigger bait. Well, 9 times out of 10, that's not always the case. So they go in there. And what I've done with this is I've put, you want roughly an inch or 2 above the boilies, because over the next 24, 48 hours, those boilies are going to take on all this liquid, all that water, and expand, and naturally the water level in the bucket's going to decrease as well. So you want a couple of inches over the top. Now, to complement this and finish this, you could do that, wash them out, it would be brilliant. However, I'm going to take this one step further. I've got the Marine Amino 365 for the tuna, and you don't need to go mad with this. Again, that's it. You don't need to go absolutely mad, because it's going to disperse in the water that's in there already. And then just give it all a good mix around. Make sure all that water and that liquid gets dispersed properly. Now, the reason I'm doing this is, number 1, it's going to make those baits appear washed out on the bottom. Number 2, it's going to make them go really, really soft, which means they're going to be easily digestible. And number 3, it means that all these boilies are going to take on this liquid over a period of time, soak right through to the core. And if your bait does land on a spot that's silty or got a little bit of chod on there that smells, and it's a bit, you know, when you wind your leads in and you smell it, you think, oh, that stinks, or that's that rotten stuff. This won't take on, and that won't be able to penetrate your bait, because they'll already be saturated with all that liquid and water, consequently pumping out attraction for longer periods of time. So that's the tuna, nicely done. So next up, we're going to do the liver. So again, some 10 mil. And some 15 mil. And to finish this one off, we've got some liquid liver compound. And again, you don't need to go mad with it. That's enough. And then repeat that process, just gives this a stir around. So if I'm being brutally honest, I have overfilled this, but I prefer to edge on the side of caution when I do it. Make sure the boilies are nicely covered. Once I'm happy that everything's in there, I'll start pouring the water away till I'm left with an inch or 2 on top of the baits, which you know is the perfect amount. And like I said, over the next few days in, that's going to soak in all that goodness, all that lovely liquid, and then be pumping attraction for hours and hours to come. Okay, so up next we have the good old golden grain. I can't go fishing without a couple of these tins in the back of the van. Now again, coming over here, this may well not be applicable to you. If there's so many nuisance fish out there and bits and bobs, this might not be any good. But again, on this sort of commercial venue here, where I haven't got a lot going on, this can offer you that fleck of colour. It's obviously got loads of goodness in there. It's got all the natural sugars. Because I'm topping my hook baits off with yellow, this gives me the perfect hook bait option. So I always carry a few tins of that. Next, I have got a mixed particle. Well, I say mixed particle, it's literally hemp and tigers. Now, on this particular venue, you can't cook your own particle. However, you can use the ones that are already made for you in tackle shops. So what I've got in here, I've got some jumbo tigers and some hemp. And again, you can see how gloopy all the natural sugars have started to come out of them. Because I've taken them out of the jars, mixed them with the hemp and left them in sort of the water that they're cooked in, all of that is starting to go gloopy, lovely, all the sugars, really, really nice. And again, there is a few crays in here, not that's causing me any issues at the minute, but the tigers again offer just that nice hook bait option if or so you need it. And the hemp just keeps them grubbing around for ages. Like, to go through boilies and kilos of boilies, number one, it's expensive, but you want something to bulk it out, and they can go through whole boilies like that, whereas the hemp will just keep them sifting around. And even if they do clear up the boilies, there will be the odd bit of hemp there to keep them there. So that's always a nice little combo and option. So up last, we have some 6mm halibut pellets. Now, they do feed them on this particular venue, and if they feed them on yours, you'd be silly not to have them with you. Now, I do know there's a few cats in here. I've caught one already, so I haven't gone absolutely mad with these. I'm literally putting half a scoop in there. Now, you could say that that probably will attract catfish, and if I needed to, I'd put some more in. But again, as an option, they're not a bad thing to have with you. And if you're not getting plagued, then obviously the carp absolutely love them as well. So combined all this together, I'm putting it out there with a Hunter 750. And yeah, like I said, for 2 nights fishing so far, we've had 13 bites and 12 fish. So clearly the fish are getting on it and absolutely loving it. And hopefully over the next few days of introducing this lot on the same spots, it'll keep those fish coming back. And with the change in the weather, you never know, this could get even better. That's the big one, boys. Yeah, he has gone 50. 52.5. Well, here is fish number 20 at £52. This has turned into an unbelievable session. We've got everything right, from the baiting to the rigs to the spots, and we're really reaping the rewards now. Get in there. I'm not gonna lie, I think this was swimming towards me half of the time, that's why it felt small. So as we've already mentioned, with the multi-rig, you can change your hook very, very quickly. So we just had this one, 49.15. I'm gonna show you exactly how easy it is to do. So this is the multi-rig that we've been banging on about over the last few days, and how versatile and easy the rig is to use and to change the hook. So this has actually just landed me a lovely carp. As you can see, it's not really fit for purpose at the minute. So what I need to do is I need to change that hook and hook bait over, steam everything down and get this in working order again. So the first thing I do is you need to slide that loop over the top of your hook. Just make sure that you don't catch your braid. Take your hook bait off. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure that you slide your hook and the shrink tube off the rig. And then you're left with your boom section. So not only is this cost effective, because all you're changing each time is your hook, you're reusing your hook bait swivels, all you're doing is changing the shrink tube and your hook. You can go even one further and use kickers as well that you can reuse over and over. So I'll have 6 or 7 of these made up like I have this trip. So the first thing you need to do is take a fresh hook, and I've been using the size 4 medium curves this trip, and they are super, super sharp and really reliable. So just check that hook point, perfect. And then finally, a new piece of shrink tube, or like I said, you can take a kicker as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the loop section of the multi, and I'm going to add the shrink tube over the loop. And then I'm going to take my hook, and I'm going to go through the eye of the hook, through front ways. And then last but not least, I'm going to add on the hook bait swivel. And it's a simple case of passing that loop over the top of the hook itself, and then pulling everything down So you've got your D section in line with the barb, and then the shrink tube, slide it up over the top of the eye of the hook. And essentially, that is it. Last thing to do is obviously we're going to need to steam the shrink tube down and obviously steam to the rig to make it sure it's nice and straight before you add your hook bait on and get this rig back out on the spot. Okay, so this time in the morning has been absolutely golden for bites, and just making sure I've not got that other rod. And yeah, once again, we've had a first light bite. We've actually had two first light bites. Just landed one on one rod. Just getting everything set up, camera gear to film it, and the other rod's gone as well. So definitely need to make the most of these morning feeding spells. The night was pretty quiet, pretty uneventful, as expected. We obviously had that lovely 40 pounder before we went to bed. And yeah, 5:30 again. It starts, so let's make the most of it this morning. And you never know, maybe even look into that real big one. I think last time we got caught in April was over 70 pounds, so. Salmon scoop. Well, check that out. We finally got one of the big ones, 60 pound, 8 ounces, an absolute super beast. What a way to start the morning. I'm absolutely buzzing. Get in there. Get in there, come on! Get in there! Hold that, hold that. Mate. Mate, it's an absolute chunk, but it's got some mega scales on it. Man, I'm literally shaking. Well, I'm not gonna lie, when I was playing this thing, I thought it was the big one. It's got a huge frame on it, but it's just empty. But all being said, it's still a mid 50. Another cracking carp. I'm sure it was well over 60 pre-spawning. Well, check this one out. Jez mentioned there were some old originals left in here. There's not many, but judging by his little melted fins, this could possibly be one of them. It's my favourite carp of the week. A 41 pounder that tops off a trio of 40, 50 and 60 pounders this morning. Just have a look at that. What a carp. Seen it? Just starting to struggle for likes. I've only got 3,200 enter. not gonna lie, let me get a breath. This is getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point now where they've really turned onto that bait, and even though I'm using multi-rigs, I've got one on each rod fishing and 3 spares made up, so I'm just alternating them. I can't even get the 3 made up that I've got as spares. I just can't keep a rod in for long enough. And look, as you can see, like they're not behaving very well, put it that way. Every fish has to be weighed and photographed in the water here. I can see why, because I'll be honest with you, there's not one. In fact, there's one that's behaved itself. The rest have absolutely beat me up. I'm soaked wet through again, but I guess there's worse things to be worrying about in there.
Yes, get in there!
It's the same width as that one Jay had in thingy, just not quite as long as the one that Jay had. Well, coming out here, the one thing I really wanted was a new personal best, and I got that, all 64 pound of it. It's been just a ridiculous trip. So many big carp. Honestly, if you're looking for a social with your mates in France, check out Lac De Vienney. You won't be disappointed. The amount of 40 and 50 pound fish in this lake is a joke. To finish it off with one of the real giants, it's just incredible. Just incredible. So I'll pick up, show you one last time. Check that out. What a carp. I am absolutely buzzing. Thank you for tuning in to Tactics. I hope you can take something into your own fishing. I'm gonna put this down because it's stupidly heavy. See you again soon. Get in there, come on.